I'm Matthew Martin, and the news is good. Tonight, always winter, never Christmas. It is mid-February, and it is cold and nasty, and I go outside and I'm slammed in the face with frigid winds. 2 months ago, it was cold and nasty, and the wind was just as frigid, but there were Christmas lights everywhere, and there were Christmas trees in the windows, and there were Christmas movies to watch. And now what am I supposed to watch? It's 6 months till football is back. It's just cold and winter, and there's no Christmas to make it worthwhile. But I look outside and I see things that remind me of the God who made the seasons, even the bitter ones. I see bare trees, which shed their leaves in order to hunker down and wait till spring. And when they return to life, I see them and I'm reminded that God is at work even when things look dead and bleak. It was a very dark and quiet time after Malachi penned his writing, which ended with him promising that a sunrise was coming. And a few centuries later, John the Baptizer came onto the scene proclaiming the kingdom was at hand, the Messiah was here. I go outside in the winter evening, and it is dark at 5 o'clock, and the days are short during the winter, and the nights are much longer. But I'm reminded that God does not sleep. Jesus is alive and awake at all times. He's there no matter how dark things may seem. I stand outside, and the cold air chills my nose, and the sun above feels so far away, but I'm reminded that God will never leave me nor forsake me. Hebrews 13:5. The streets are far less busy than they were before Christmas. No one's in a rush to get to gatherings or get to parties. Everyone seems content to slow down and hunker down, and that's not a bad thing. God calls us sometimes to be still and to relax and to be calm and just to trust. I see frost on the windows and occasionally a flake or two of snow, and I'm reminded at the very core of every beautiful snowflake is a speck of dust. And when I am cleansed by Jesus, He makes me whiter than snow. You don't see a speck of dust anywhere. It's all been covered, washed by blood. As the winter rolls on, seasonal depression worsens for many. But I'm reminded that God and His love and His many benefits are not tied to a holiday or to a season. They are ever present, a tree from which we can regularly partake and enjoy. Believe me, I'm as eager as the next person to celebrate Christmas, and God willing, I have a ton of Christmas-themed devotionals to share with you starting, let's say, November. In the meantime, I will get through the rest of winter by appreciating the joy of my salvation, which stays with me through every season of life. Thank you, Matthew. We now go live to our correspondent out on the field. Thank you, Matthew. Today's Bible reading comes from Acts chapter 10, beginning of verse 27, which reads, "The keeper of the prison awoke out of his sleep and saw the prison doors open, and drew out his sword, intending to kill himself, supposing the prisoners had fled. But Paul cried with a loud voice and said, 'Do no harm, for we are all here.'" Paul had the opportunity to sit back and do nothing, not take any active action against this jailer who had imprisoned him and had overseen Paul's horrendous beating and abuse at the hands of his jailers. He could have stood there and watched and allowed that man to kill himself, but instead he intervenes because he knows this is a human being, a soul, and every soul is precious to the Lord and deserves the opportunity to hear the gospel. And so by calling out to the jailer responds quickly and hastily, runs into the prison, hears the gospel, goes back with Paul and Silas, and obeys the gospel of Jesus Christ to his salvation. It is February 10th, and my family has finally moved to Vilonia. It has been a long month of January for us and into the first week of February, where we put all of our plans in motion to get here and to move here and to do everything we had to do to get here, and things just seemed like it was taking forever, dragging and dragging. I think January was the longest month of my life that I can recall. It just felt like it'd be forever before I finally was here and localized. And things still aren't fully settled, but I suppose that's just the way it is. Nothing will ever be fully settled because this is just the kind of world we live in. It's a turbulent world. But my prayer for all of us is, in spite of the turbulence, we remember that we serve a God who is good to us. We serve a God who is there for us. We serve a God who is timeless, eternal, and ever present, even when the world seems like it's changing constantly and things are always up in the air, or we want things to happen and everything is taking forever. God is constant. God is consistent. God is always there, reliable, and good for us. I pray for today that you will remember that. And whatever's going on in your life, if things are taking forever or if they're going by way too fast, that you will just stop and give thanks to the Lord, who is forever.